Uh, just got through getting everything vacuumed up, and I think I got most of the dust out of here, but you'll never get all the dust out of this place. So here we are, and I have. Oh, wait a minute, we're on the wrong side, Steve. Somebody will call us on it. There we go. Now the world is right. No, Brian, I actually had to call her in to help me out with this order I'm working on, and I am glad to say that I've only got, I think I've got 60 something in the box, and I've got 15 outside drying. So it's the downhill slide now. I've got till Thursday to get them finished. So all the cutting is done. I've got them all stacked, ready to be put together.
Well, that's got to be a good feeling to at least have them all cut.
Yeah, yeah, because the air, the man, I was having fits, but I guess it was because I was just cranking. Because the machines, seriously, I haven't run these machines that hard in a while, and it was like everything bad that could happen was happening. I mean, I was cleaning the machines after, I don't know, probably after about 3 hours of runtime, I would clean them because that's usually when they need cleaning. And it kept spitting water on me, but I finally found out that apparently I don't know how it does it, but apparently if that little filter gets stopped up, it causes the air compressor to generate more water. Something to do with it having to work harder. I don't know, but anyway, keep those things clean, guys, because it cost me two lenses before I realized I had a problem somewhere.
Well,
And I'm talking
stop
about it.
put stop putting it by an exhaust.
It destroyed that lens. I'm talking about
Yeah,
it was cutting great, and all of a sudden I saw it when it happened. All of a sudden it just went. It looked like somebody had like poured a drink in the enclosure, and the laser just quit cutting. And I'm like, oh Lord, what happened?
yeah,
Yeah, if I knew
yep.
somebody who sold, he got me, Brian. He got me. I done placed my order. Oh, as soon as he feels it, but he's a little slow about filling them orders, especially when it's somebody trying to work.
I'm
Now
sorry
I've
they don't
got
have
a.
mail service on Sunday.
Luckily, I do have some spares, and I had loaned Klein one of my spares, and when he seen I was having troubles, he brought it back to me because he had ordered some. So I've got a couple more shots at it. One of these is actually bad already. I've just got to wait till Steve's lenses gets here, and I'm gonna replace the lens that's in there. Uh, but yeah, luckily, like I said, I've got this one's bad, but these two here are still good. So
Nice.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to use those to get the job finished, but I was prepared to sacrifice them if I needed to. Hey, there's Brandy, guys. Don't tell her I told y'all that she messed up my shop today. She did, but she was helping me, so she was helping me a lot. I really appreciate it because I was stressing because I've been in here just trying to cut them out and get everything ready, and then she comes in and she turns out she's a master gluer. And she's really good at it. And this is a three-piece design where all three pieces have to line up perfectly, or there's some sanding to be done. And she's done a good job.
Very nice.
Yeah. Now, Mark, Steve makes you pick your shipping, and I picked the cheapest one that was up there.
Well, I used to have it just be a flat rate, and it was for basically first class mail. But then I had a few people that insisted on paying for priority, even though it really doesn't do anything for you. It gets you maybe you roll the dice to maybe get it there a day earlier.
Yeah.
Um, so so then I changed it to like, all right, let them choose which one they want, and then I don't have to deal with the people messaging me just because they want to try to swap the shipping. So
Yeah. I don't know that I'm familiar with black lithium grease. Do you know the difference between the white lithium grease and the black with it without Googling it? I mean, we could probably Google it and find out, but
no, I've always just used if I'm using lithium grease, I just I don't think I've ever seen black.
I don't recall, but maybe I did. But I can't tell you. I use either just white lithium grease or, of course, pink sheen.
Hang Shang.
Yeah, because they send a lot of that stuff. But But I can't say for sure. I'm like Steve. All the lithium grease I've ever got was white, so that may be something that's other parts of the world. Maybe it's just the color's different. Who knows?
Well, and I'm curious. So, you say an Ohm Tech machine? Um, is this on the? Is this a CO2 machine? Is it on the linear rails? Because honestly, I think that's maybe a bit sticky and heavy for putting in there. Um, I use something a little bit lighter and preferably drier because that lithium grease will attract any debris and smoke and pick up the dust from it.
Apparently, there is a thing as black lithium grease, but it looks to me like tractor grease, like just
Yeah, that's what it would seem like. I would.
regular, regular old grease.
I mean, white lithium grease is not a. I mean, it's pretty close to that. I think it's probably a little less sticky than
See,
the black. You know, just
yeah,
like hub grease or bearing grease. But
yeah. See, I wonder with CNCs and with especially with CNCs because it makes it sticky. But I've wondered why they don't just use graphite. Other than, I mean, I guess graphite's messy with for some
um,
people.
yeah, I mean, it could be like a conductivity issue. Things that some other CNCs have recommended is like the PTFE type stuff, or I've even seen the garage door silicone. Is it silicone grease they use on garage doors, or is it?
I think it's a
I haven't.
silicone spray. The dry
Yeah,
lube stuff. I think it's
yeah,
silicone based.
yeah. So
I,
I've seen them recommend that as well, and that's the nice thing is that it goes on, it dries quick, it's not wet, it adds the lubrication, it doesn't
no, Dale.
attract
I was
material.
I
So
was googling to try to figure out what black lithium grease looked like. So
here's there you go from Midnight Sun Woodwork. White greases are indicative of greases for food machinery, while black are greases for are moly graphite greases for severe operating conditions. So
makes sense. That makes sense. That way you don't, if it's black, you probably won't be using it on food service stuff.
yeah. So on a CO2 machine, if you can get like a quick dry lube kind of thing, I use that. Otherwise, I use like a light machine oil, sewing machine oil. Just put a little bit on that rail, um, and that'll work better. But that can still attract a little bit of debris. But I think it's better than using something like sticky or greasy. So
Yeah. So you using some 3-in-1 over there? Is that what you what you recommended?
um, do I have a bottle of it? I don't know. I'd have to look. But
Yeah, three-in-one's kind of a useful all-round lubricant for anything from
mhm.
door hinges to drawer slides to sewing machines to, I mean, pretty much whatever. It's been around
Yeah,
forever.
yeah. I can't remember if it's. I mean, that's basically what it is. I just can't remember if it's labeled
Yeah,
as that or some off-brand something or other. But
yeah. Well, what you making there, Brad? Got something good going on? Yeah, Sharon. I have to get her to do the painting. I don't like painting, and I haven't tested it lately. But I used to have issues with my fingers going to sleep when I was painting. So I used that as an excuse to let her do the painting. It worked pretty well. Brian said Onefinity is very specific about using 3-in-1.
yeah, I definitely use that in there. But I know I have another bottle of something else out here that I've used on my laser rails, and I just would have to look to see if it's the same or different. But
Well, I've got a gallon of WD-40, but I just use it to coat my blades for my sawmill after I sharpen them, keep them from rusting. I guess you could use it, but you know.
well, it's no, I wouldn't. I mean, it's not really a lubricant. It's more of a cleaner and a water displacer, and you
Yeah.
know, it's going to attract more stuff than it's going to lubricate. So,
But no, I use it on when I'm sharpening my saw blades, and after I clean them, I got a sponge basically that it drags them through, and I soak it in WD-40. That way, it coats them to try to slow down the rusting and stuff. Because sawmill blades are going to rust.
Yeah. Brad finished 12 cutting boards.
Well, good
Wow.
job. Well, guys, I'm happy to report Operation Trying to Get Caught Up is nearing success. I delivered 8 stove covers and 3 cutting boards yesterday. I've got only 5 stove covers on the to-do list over here. And like I said, me and Brady managed to get most of the 3-piece designs out. There's a stack on top of the We Create. That's what we got left to to put together, glue up, and it's 3 pieces of Luon per design. So once we get those done, then I've got to after she glues them, I clean them, sand them, and I have to fit check every one, and then they go outside for some poly. And then once they all get polyed, I've got little dots, the little no slip dots coming. I got to put the dots on them, and we will be done. So that has been a job. But good news is the V35 and the longer did not croak because I was afraid I was going to kill one of them. I would stop periodically and clean them and check everything and then put them back to work. But it was a lot of continual running.
Yeah.
Hi from Mexico. Huh. Sweet. Hello there. I don't know what the name of the city is, but I am. I do know that that is Mexican state, whatever. No, Spanish is a little rusty.
Well,
But
probably
so
better
what
than mine.
so what have you been doing? I've been seeing you drop a couple of videos lately. So you working through that backlog that you've been dealing with? Or you finally getting through it?
Um,
Because I haven't.
yeah. Well, yeah, I got a couple more posted this week. Um, as you were talking about the Atom Stack A24, and I think we both got them about the same time, and we have a few extra things coming, but I can't really wait for them because it kind of disrupts the rest of my schedule. And so I went ahead and published mine with the promise of a follow up as some of those other things come in. Um, and also put out the French cleat hangers and whatnot. Had that video. I actually did that a little while ago, but had that ready. And actually, it's holding 2 lasers right now, the xTool and the A24. So we're working on that. And then, yeah, I actually started working on, well, we talked about the We Create last week, and I
Yeah.
have been playing around trying to get used to that one. But something else came in.
Yeah, Brian wants
And,
to know. Brian wants to know about that video he's been asking you about for like 6
well,
months.
I know. I've been bad about that one. I've been waiting for another project to incorporate it to, and it just hasn't happened yet. But
Yeah.
someone else stole my last idea for a project involving LED lights and such, and
Really?
mirrors and
Oh,
frames.
yeah. That's. I don't know that they stole it. I think maybe they was just two people thought of the same project idea at the same time. Which,
Well, maybe not the.
to be honest with you, I was just walking through Lowe's and I saw a 6 pack of mirrors for
Yeah.
$14, and I'm like, wow, okay, you're going home with me. So that's how
Well,
that video came to be.
and for anyone who doesn't want to build the box, you can go to Michael's, and they have shadow boxes that are 12 by 12. Now
Mm-hmm.
the quality is what you're paying for, because sometimes you can buy one get 3 free or something ridiculous like that. But
Yeah.
those Lowe's 12 by 12 mirrors drop right in. You pull the glass out for the shadow box. You can drop the mirror right in from Lowe's, and it fits perfectly. So
See, you could still do that video, get you a couple of those shadow boxes and use those mirrors. And then you could also say, if you don't want to use a shadow box, you can go buy this file over at Clack Shack and cut your own frame out. And that would be helpful. I think everybody would find that helpful.
well, it sure. I mean, if you don't want to buy this one or make this one on a table saw, and you've got almost an hour to spend to watch
Yeah.
his video,
Oh, God.
uh,
It hurts. It hurts.
That was a long one, but
Well, it
yeah, no,
was, but I mean, I
it's
didn't have any B-roll in there. I mean, I
it's
cut all that out.
it's been on my list, and it's just one of those projects that's kind of on standby once I get things together for stuff and get caught up. But as yeah, um, as I was saying, I did have another item come in, and so I've had to spend a little bit of time kind of learning this one as well because I was kind of excited to get it because I've wanted to play around with this and give it a shot, and so see if this will work. That showed up.
Uh-huh. So,
So that is the xTool P2 CO2 laser, and it is heavy. I think the box was 130 pounds with everything in it. The laser itself is somewhere over 100 pounds. So uh, I'm not moving it around too much for now. So I got to get through this video of a couple of them. Got the riser for it as well, so we'll be able to play with that. And yeah, gonna kind of get my initial impressions. The basic setup and how you get into it, just as kind of a guide there, because you've got to mix. They give you a bottle of. You can't see me. They give you a bottle of antifreeze, or whatever they call antifreeze, and then you got to mix it to a certain with water and such. And so you got to fill that up so that it's got an internal chiller, and then that fills up the water in the tube and such. Then you do have to check the mirrors as well in this one. They do have a decent way for adjusting them. The back one's not very easy to get at, but so there's a couple tips of people getting started with it, but then it'll be, see what it can do. And my early tests, it's got the dual camera setup. So it has kind of a wide angle view that shows the whole bed. As a matter of fact, I could probably show this.
yeah, I still ain't figured out why they didn't carry that over to the S1, but whatever.
Let me see here. There. So let me get me out of the way. You get the faded out area is the wide view, but then you get this kind of 16 megapixel close up view to really target and dial it in. Because the wide one if you just do that and you drop a piece down, you'll see it's off a little bit. But then if you come in and do the capture the close view, it lets you kind of pick what area you want to go to, and then it's going to move the laser head over to it. It takes a close-up view of that spot, and then what I've noticed is it's pretty much spot on then, because it's literally moving the head right over top, so there really shouldn't be any lens aberration or skewing at that point.
So I'm assuming it has a camera on the module then.
Yep.
Cool. Nice.
So
Brian,
yeah, Jim.
I haven't heard from him on this one, but yeah, Steve gets all the toys. I've said that for what, a year now. Steve gets all the cool toys.
Well, not. I don't.
I don't have an ET. I do not have a CO2 from xTool. I got the diode. I got the beefed up diode without a camera, the S1. So, Brian, the bees are doing well, but I'm not really messing with them right now because this time of the year, they're, they don't have enough resources to really get food or anything. So I just have to kind of feed them and hope they do well through the winter. I haven't started feeding yet because I figure they got plenty of honey left. But yeah, it'll be springtime before we get to mess with them anymore. I don't like opening them during the wintertime once they get everything sealed up.
Yeah. See, Brian's got the fix for
you. Is that what it is? Is that where I'm going wrong? I took one to Maymay's and it didn't work. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's it or not. I'm just gonna say they like Steve better. How about that? He's like teacher's pet or something over there.
Yeah, well, I'll take that, I guess. You know, but
Brian
yeah,
wants to know
no,
if you're going to do the grain of rice. Are you going to engrave a grain of rice?
uh, you know, I on the when I did the original RA2 demo, I did engrave on a toothpick, which is about the same diameter as some rice. So we'll see. I do have a digital microscope thing I can hook it up to. Maybe we'll see if we can get some small engravings. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. While while ET's mentioning it, guys, if you hadn't already, hit the subscribe button. I personally am trying to get to 20,000 before 2024. I wanted to come up with like this cool slogan, 20K by 2024 or whatever, but I couldn't figure out how to make it work. And Steve, you should be getting close. Are you not, or have you not hit it yet? But Steve's also trying to pursue his record of. See how
well, every
close
day
you
is a
are.
new record.
Well, I'm just. How close are you though?
Okay, so I need 52 of your closest friends to come say hi to my channel, and I'll
52.
be at 10. I'll be at
So
10K.
Steve only needs 52 subscribers. Now I know a lot of you guys don't necessarily hit the subscribe button. Me and Brandy was talking about that today. The term subscribe traditionally meant you pay money and they send you out something. It don't cost you nothing, guys. Go hit the button. It's free. All it does is let you know when we put out a video. And Steve needs 52 of you to do that. So if you're watching my channel and you haven't hit the subscribe over there, let's get over there and hit it so that we can get him above that threshold. Mine's a little, like I said, I think I will be able to make it, but I'm not turning down any subscribers tonight either. So that's
Yeah.
why you see I've done my new little splash screen right there, which I've added the subscribe and like to kind of subconsciously remind everybody to subscribe. And we both also have Facebook pages, and I tell people on Etsy all the time because Etsy is not ideal for messaging me about troubleshooting and stuff like that. If you want to message me for troubleshooting or you got questions or whatever, please go to Facebook and do not reply to a comment that I comment on YouTube because half the time those things fall through the cracks and I don't find them. So if you go to Facebook, you can subscribe to the channel and you can directly send me messages there. And I can even send you videos. I can send you screenshots or whatever to help you with your problem. I had a guy today trying to message me through YouTube, and I'm like, guys, I can't. I got the screenshots right here, but I can't send them to you. So stats say you gained 810 subs in the last 30 days. Oh, look at there. Brian said you done picked up 810 in 30 days.
Yeah, that's probably pretty close.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, you should be able to get there, hopefully. Hopefully we can get you there. 52. 52 is not a big number, guys. Like I said, just psh, psh. It's one little mouse click. Uh-oh. Hang on. What we got here? Uh-oh. That's no good.
Hmm.
Screw fell out of the machine. Don't know where it went. How many focus? Very small screw fell off. Eh, how thick a block? What?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, the focus device fell off. Is that like the little flip lever? I, if if the if the flip lever fell off and there's a screw, it's probably what held the focusing tool on there. But you can make a focusing tool. I've got one that I made for my longer because for some reason I don't know why, but this thing fell off my longer, and so since this wasn't on here, because longer tries to mess with you, they attach the little focusing foot to this lens. So if you take the lens off, you lose your focusing foot. But the joke's on them. I took a piece of black acrylic and made me a focusing tool. So, so if Steve, so if your little focusing leg did fall off and you can't get it back on because you're missing screws or whatever, you could make yourself a focusing tool uh, for that. Norbert, back's doing a lot better. I can still tell that something happened to it, but I'm not hurting like I was. I try to avoid stepping in any holes or bumping into anything because that still kind of hurts a little bit. But other than that, I've been able to get out here and do most everything I need to do in the shop, with the exception of having to call the wife for anything heavy. So, oh, they're subscribing for Brandy. That's probably true. She, I took a picture of her today out here helping me, but I can't share it, guys, until May May releases this classified project she's got me working on. Or, well, actually, that we are working on together. But I will tell y'all this, the thing that we're making for May May, and as soon as she reveals it, I'll share the video or whatever. But the thing I'm making for May May, there is not one like it on the planet that we can find, and it's going to be. She thinks it's going to be a really cool thing for her crafter people. So, and we can't find one anywhere. So if there is one, we haven't found it. So we're hoping to have the first.
Very
That'll be
cool.
that'll be cool. Yep.
So, yeah, I keep doing my best to try to hurt my back too. So, I we this is one of those procrastination things that would be a lot easier if I would have done it at the right time. But there's a there was a crack in one of our concrete steps, and of course, water gets in there, and as water gets in there in winter, it's going to freeze and it's going to start to expand and pop and whatnot. Um, and so I had to I had to kind of chip that out, and then it of course became a bigger crack and piece. So I had to patch in this piece of concrete step today, and this is the kind of thing where it really shouldn't freeze for, you want it to cure for at least 24 hours or so. And right now that's risky overnight because the temperatures drop. Well, tonight it's not supposed to freeze. And so I've got the best chance so that as early as it warmed up enough this morning, mid morning, I made sure I got that prepped and set so that it had all day to cure and overnight. So yeah, but that's never fun, bending over, troweling, mixing cement and such. So
Yeah, see, I can't do that right now. I'd have to let Brandy pour the quickcrete out for me.
yeah.
I can't even go to the store and get chicken food because they don't sell it in anything less than 25 pounds. So, uh, Brett, I've got the Ender 3 version 2 Neo, but I can't say that I've ever dealt with a version 3, which is probably just the version 2 with a couple more add-ons.
Yeah, and I think my Ender 3 is the version before you guys. So
Yeah. Norbert, this one is actually because this wasn't a design necessarily that May May came to me and was like, "Hey, I got this idea. I want you to make this for me." This was just she presented a problem that she had and asked me to create something, and I was like, "Well, I could do that, but why don't I do this?" And it was like way more awesome than what she'd anticipated. so, so my logo is actually on this build. It's got my logo, and she told me to do it. What is it, May May or the Clack Shack X May May or something like that? I don't know how. It's something to do with the way they do it when people collaborate on stuff. But anyway, my logo will actually be on these pieces as well as May May's logo. So it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm anxious to see how they're received. Uh, I might even see if I can crash her video when she reveals them. Because I do a lot of Maymay's people. I see them at their events and stuff like that, and so I may try to crash her video. And just kind of peek my head in.
how's that
There's,
sometime this week then?
well, I'm supposed to give them to her. She wanted them by Black Friday, so I'm guessing
Hmm,
that she's going to work it into her Black Friday promotions or whatever.
sure.
So I'm going to try to have them to her Thursday, if not sooner.
Yeah, I would think getting them launched this week so that she could get them out there while people are shopping and whatnot would be ideal for her. And
Oh
you.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, this is the first order, and it was 100 units, but she's saying that there may be more coming. So we'll see. We'll see how they go. The last time she asked for 100 units, she called me back a week later and said she needed 300 more. And then like a month later, she needed 300 more. So we'll see.
I don't, you're gonna have to start paying Brandy more.
Yeah, may have to get a bit. I may wind up having to bite the bullet and go get me a look on eBay and see if I can find me a cheap CO2 laser like you did that would work for 10 years. Uh, Cause you've got good use out of yours. My luck, I'd buy one that'd be brick right off the truck.
Well, well, here, let me see. It's making it a great shelf right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's hard at work.
It's got stuff on it. But no, I recently moved that over there so I could shorten up my exhaust and actually fit a few more things in here, and still be able to work. Trying to have connectivity to things and piping to my air exhaust, things like that. So I'm kind of doing a shuffle, and this is why I have wheels on almost everything in my shop. If I build it, I mean, even my miter saw station that looks like it's stationary have casters so that if you tip them back, you can kind of wheel them around like a two-wheel cart. Because
yeah, that's the way my shop saw is. Everything in my shop
just always moving things around. So even my bigger cabinets have wheels on them, and so yeah, it's a little bit of a shuffle right now, but I do have a couple of things I want to.
Brian. One, I personally have not used any of the laser picker machines. They have threatened to send me one like twice, and they never follow through. And I don't think you've ever gotten one either, have you, Steve? I think didn't they talk to you once before too?
Am I back here? Because I just had a reconnecting thing.
Yeah, you kind of like did a little glitchy thing, but you never really left.
I have not had one of the laser picker machines. No.
Yeah.
It. Yeah, they. I think a while ago they reached out about one of those initial. Their top down fiber style or their Galvo style, but it was like the lower wattage one. So.
Yeah. Jack, actually, right now, Klein is loving the fact that I am so backed up. I've been sending him like 2 jobs a day. I sent him 2 today. So he's getting very busy, and I told him here a while back, be careful what he asks for because he's still trying to work a full-time job too, and so he is benefiting from me being so busy right now. So I try to spread the love around and work with him on get him some work. But yeah, Brady did. She got a 50% raise today. So
she said she requested one. You said you had to wait.
Yeah, see that? Making fun of me, making fun of my disabilities. But yeah, there it is right there. Hey, Brian, I've actually started on a logo. I haven't finished it because I've been busy, but while I was hurt, I actually started on a logo. But we're gonna have to figure out a few things about the graphics. But yeah. I tried getting her to come out here and just. I asked her today if she was about ready to do Clack Shack work full time after she was helping me for a little while. She just kind of looked at me funny, so I'm taking that as a no. Ooh, well,
I
if I can get it to hide.
I think you better work on being full time first.
Yeah, 22 months, guys. 22 months. Unless something really bad happens, that's my plan.
Yeah. Well, Bill's got a question here. Is there another associated setting that can keep the kerf offset from working? We've gone from +4 to -4, and the part mic's the same. Well, if you're going now, usually it's in millimeters or inches. If you're going full 4 or -4, Lightburn probably doesn't know what to do with that. It's going to need to be like like a lot of my diodes, it ends up being around 0.1 millimeter, which is going to be like 0.03 something inch. So if you've got a solid number that big, Lightburn probably doesn't know what to do with it, and it's not actually getting an offset. So that would
Yeah,
be the first
if
thing
you're
to check.
wanting to offset the line that far, you might as well just use the offset tool and move it over. If it's 4 millimeters, in my opinion. Because what is the max value that you can put in the kerf offset box?
That's a good question.
I was fixing to try to look that up
So,
because I'm pretty sure that's probably capped.
well, hello, Posey 3D Studios, first time live attendee. Always great to have new people coming and checking us out on our weekend live stuff.
Well, there's people here talking about doing a 1/2 inch kerf offset. So I mean, I've never really played with it.
I
Only time I add anything to it is when I'm building boxes in boxes.py. Other than that, I don't ever really use it. I just account for it.
So just playing around, 5 millimeters is the max it'll let me go.
Okay. Yeah, Bill's saying 4 is max. It may vary, but different versions of Lightburn too. Yeah, Nate, that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get to that point to where I can kick on out of here. Uh, yeah, Klein's like I said, he's been busy, and I think his family's down this weekend. His brother came by here last night. His brother's actually just purchased a Acer P20 and a Comgrow, the large Comgrow, honeycomb and everything. And they came over last night. I put the machine together for him, adjusted everything, kind of gave his brother a crash course on maintenance and so forth. Set everything up on his computer for Lightburn. His brother actually lives somewhere in Tennessee near Gatlinburg. And so he's been seeing some of the stuff Klein's doing and decided he wanted to get into it as a hobby. And so he is off to the races. And I told him I knew where there were some good resources with videos between me, Steve, and some of the other guys out there. He should be able to train himself up using YouTube as a it's kind of a school.
Nice.
Yeah, hey, what's up, Posey? One of my local guys here. I think he's big into 3D printing. I spoke to him the other day. He's just north of me, so yeah, getting some local people figuring out who I am. So not all my fans are over there with Chris in Australia.
Well, as Brian would say, you just got to drag your laser to a woodworking show, and you'll meet them
Yeah,
all.
yeah, that's right. Maybe I should start taking more selfies with my xTool stuff. Maybe they'd send me a P2. Maybe that would work. Then I could do something with the Monport over here because I really only use it for acrylic. So because it's not big enough for me to do anything else with. So I wouldn't mind having the P2 xTool if you're watching. But I said that the other night about my Algo getting tore up, and now I've got like the second in command at Algo calling me, going, "Hey, I'll remote it and fix it." So one of you guys, I don't know who it was, reached out to Algo Laser, and man, they are beating my door down trying to get that thing fixed.
Well,
So and I told him, I was like, "Look, I just don't have the time to work on it right now. But as soon as I get my head above water, I will call you and we will work together." I tried the software thing and I can't get it to work. I'm thinking I'm gonna need a new board. I don't know, but it's not wanting to take the firmware. Hey, hey, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna turn down a P2.
I, I mean,
None of y'all would.
I don't know.
Do I?
You know, this was 2-man lift. So, if you get one of those in, you're going to have to earn it because Brandy can't lift this on her own.
Oh, I got a 22-year-old daughter that's pretty stout.
All right.
She moves boxes on a regular basis, and then I got a 13-year-old that's bigger than a 22-year-old. She's almost as tall as me. So,
Yeah, I had to have the 15-year-old come out here and we got it lifted up and moved around. So I'll have to do it
Does it
again when I get
support
that
TFTP?
the riser underneath it too. So
Now, Jim, they've sent me the directions for the algo, and I've tried their software and everything, and I'm just not having any luck, and not sure exactly what it is. So, just waiting on them to let me know something. Uh, Gary, as far as I know, I shouldn't. They've got this darn Black Friday thing up here on my signal meter, but as far as I know, I shouldn't be lagging.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like I said, I just don't know why anybody would turn down anything if somebody wanted to just give it to you. Well, I say that I've turned down some stuff that people wanted to send to me, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's because they want you to sell your soul to them to get it.
right. Well, and some of them are, man. I was trying to. You get some random Amazon sellers that they're like, oh, I watch your channel and I think it's great, and we've got something that would fit in great, and it's like it's completely out of left field. Completely, I can't even think of them right now. But they were like, like I had one that was like the corrugated um, garden beds or something like that. And I'm like, I haven't, I I burn plants on my channel. I don't plant them. I mean, why would you think that this is
Yeah.
something that matches mine? So yeah,
Brian said he's up for it. Oh, yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of I'm trying to slow things down, kind of like you said, and me and you've talked about it. I'm trying to do more project stuff because I know it's right here at Christmas, and a lot of guys are looking for ideas for things to do that are unique and kind of maybe some direction on how to do some of the stuff for the new people. But already, Brandy worked me too hard today. But so I'm trying to get all this backlog caught up and get back to doing that. And I do have some for the folks that have a smaller work area. I've got some smaller mirrors coming that I'm going to retool my frame for. So Steve, if you're thinking about doing some smaller shadow boxes, I mean, like I said, I still think that video would be a good advertisement for you. Just drop that link to my Etsy shop down there in the description. You know,
I'm missing the part where it's advertisement for me.
I'll give you a nickel
Oh,
for every one you sell.
that's
How about that?
yeah, the bank doesn't like me bringing in cash anymore. So you better figure something out.
Yeah, but I know that's where me and you both are trying to get back to the project stuff, and I was doing a pretty good job of doing that, and then like I said, stove orders got backed up during my back injury time, and I was able to keep most of the laser stuff out of here because I could sit in this chair and run the lasers, even highly medicated, but I couldn't run table saws and skill saws and stuff like that. But luckily I've got most of those done, and as soon as I get May's order out, I should be good. See, Brandy said that's more than I pay her, so you should be that would be good for you.
I can't complain.
Oh well, Kent, I hope that helps you out. And Steve has one of the comm markers too, as well, and I think he's done some coins. But Kent messaged me today and was asking what machine I did for the coins and some
Yeah.
settings and stuff. And it's like I told him, I haven't had the comm marker a long time. I've used it a pretty good bit because I crunk out probably 40 of these challenge coins right before
Hmm.
the event up at Pedals from the Past, and it done a good job. Now this one's a little off center because somebody bumped it, but it's actually this is the coin that I flip if I'm trying to decide who's right, but it always lands on this side. So uh, I don't know what's up with that.
Yep. Well, yeah, no, I've got mine as well, and I actually have some extra supplies that I want to play with on there. And as you mentioned, um, just trying to get through my current list of things, and want to get into projects. I mean, I've got shop organization things out here that I want to work on. Same thing in my basement shop a little bit. You want to get the 3D printer in a, I need it in a place where I can run it, where the family can run it, but that it's not in the way, and that's a big box. So, so yeah, I it like you say, it's great being able to check these things out. It's great being able to try to, I try to give pretty thorough reviews on the items and give a pretty good rundown of things for people, and I've had some good feedback on that. They appreciate it, but that it takes time to do that, and you want to be able to do that for people and try that out. But yeah, it prevents me from getting to the fun stuff sometimes, and need that to mix things up.
Oh yeah. Well, Brandy was saying today, because I told her, I was like, I gotta get out the shop and get to work, and she'll tell you, mass producing things is not my strong suit. I'm that guy that you come to, and once I think up the idea, design it, prototype it out, and make sure that it works, my interest is shot at that point. I'm like, okay, I've conquered, I'm done.
Yeah,
So this order of 100 is really, I have to reach down in my soul and get my willpower to keep going, because it does. I mean, I like the creative aspect of what I do, not so much the mass producing. I don't mind the mass producing when it's just cut and stack, but when it's cut, glue, stack,
yeah,
stain, fit check, poly, it gets I get the feeling like I'm in a assembly line, which technically I was,
yeah,
and so I do get a little bored with it, but
yeah. I
that's just my personality.
I kind of one of I I know what you mean. When it's something you can kind of have working on the side, but you can still work on another project. That's great. That being said, when I was kind of mass producing those airplane stand kits, that paid for so many things. I mean, that really built out this shop. Bought a lot of fun stuff. Being able to have that kind of bread and butter constantly coming in. But I did offer them as either a kit form or a pre-assembled, and I had an upcharge of about $40 because it took me about an hour. I mean, unless I was batching them out, but if I was going to do one, it was maybe about an hour because I had to let some glue dry and do some other thing, and it would get kind of tiring. And I got started to ask myself, is it really worth the $40 to do
Yeah,
this? I mean, yes, it is, because who wouldn't want to get paid $40 an hour for working in your workshop? But it took
yeah.
away from so many other things. So
Well, that's the way I am. I mean, those bulk jobs are kind of what pays to upgrade and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Brandy said I don't like it when she points that out. You can't admit, y'all guys, y'all know you don't admit stuff like that to your wife. Not intentionally. I thought she was on the treadmill or something, not paying attention. But Jim's asking for any tips on getting sales. Says he's had no luck with online so far. And I would ask, what kind of online are you trying? Because, like I tell everybody, Facebook Marketplace and having a Facebook page and have your friends share it and stuff. Once you get through all of the friends builds that you don't make no money off of, or the family builds, you can actually start making a little bit of money on Facebook Marketplace and a Facebook page in general. But you have to be patient and you have to hustle it, because it's not going to come easy. Klein is just starting to reap the rewards with his Facebook page, and it's been what, 6 months since we launched his page, I think, and he's just now, like he was telling me the other day, it's finally got to where he's actually making enough money to feel good about it, because before he was making enough money, but he was having to invest it back into tools and stuff like that, and so he kind of felt like he wasn't making any money.
yeah, and
What's your thoughts?
well, uh, so I mean, if you're trying to do online, like through Etsy and such, I mean, that's a hard thing to jump into with physical products that are out there that everybody can make. Um, what it's If you're using Facebook Marketplace, we've talked about that before, and it's good to have your page. But I would suggest, if you want to try to push that online but local, look for some if there's like buy local handcraft group, Facebook groups, or like a buy sell page, or like we've got one that's like a greater Mankato area businesses thing. Um, those are, it's beyond Facebook Marketplace. Do a little search around your community, see if there's some groups about that. And you'll have a lot better luck. And then, don't be afraid to, um, see if there's like a local farmer's market, craft show or whatnot. And as long as you can go to it with the mentality of, I don't care if I don't make $1 at this first show. I'm here to learn. I'm here to get my name out there. If you approach it that way, you're as this is my tuition. I'm paying to learn versus I got to make money. That first one should be the learning experience, and hopefully between that'll help you out. So
Yeah, that's I still do that when I go to an event. Brandy will ask me, "Well, how'd you do?" And I'm like, "I made my gas money back," because that's really, I just don't want to be upside down. Now, usually I do make more money than what I did the first time or two. The first time or two I did an event, it's like you said, you're going to learn so many things that you did poorly, and then you just adjust and go at it next time. But yeah, it's I do a lot of local. Like, I'll walk into a business and just tell them, this is what I do. This is the kind of stuff I can make. You might be interested in. Here's some free samples. Enjoy.
yeah,
So I don't do as much I don't do as much with Marketplace. I know a lot of people that do. Mine, I started just my own page, the Clack Shack, my Facebook page, and I shared it out to my friends, and then my friends shared it out, and then now it's got to the point to where around here, if somebody says, "Hey, I want this engraved," or "Hey, I want this made," especially like Steve's talking about in some of the community groups, like what's happening in Chilton County or some of these other ones that they have, there'll be like 6 people be like, the Clack Shack, at the Clack Shack, at the Clack Shack, at the Clack Shack. And so then I'll start getting messages from them going, "Hey, like 6 people in this group told me to contact you about this," which here lately I've been having to tell them, "Yes, I do it, but I'm busy right now. So go to at Klein's Engraving and message him." So, but I just started mine as a page. And when it first started, to be honest with you, it was more or less just me as a hobby, taking pictures of things that I made and just sharing them, just showing people. And then people started going, "Oh, well, that's cool." And I'll never forget, I made like a little tabletop or candle holder for Brandy, and I took a picture of it. I put it on my Facebook page. I gave it to Brandy. She took it in the house, decorated it, and all that. This woman messages me and is like, "Hey, I want to buy that." And I'm like, "Well, I made it for my wife." And she's like, "I want to buy it." And of course, Brandy's like, "Tell her I'll take $30." And the girl bought it. And I'm like, "Wait a minute. This is not how this is supposed to work." And so Brandy has actually sold several things that I made for her. She's like, "You can make me another one, sell that one, and go make me another one." So that's how mine started off. And now the Facebook page has gotten a lot more
either you
popular.
lost me or I lost you.
Uh-oh. Hello? Hello? It looks like it's working on my end. I can hear and see you. Can you hear and see me? Everybody? Can anybody not see me? Well, I guess if you couldn't see me, then you wouldn't know that you couldn't see me, would you? Steve? Steve, are we there? Says that I can still hear you. I don't think it's... Uh-oh. Guys? Hmm. I think it was on Steve's end. And it's, to be honest with you guys, the software that we use, we're kind of at their mercy. So they could be having some problems. Uh, so either Steve is asleep or his video has froze on my end. So, oh, I guess he'll be back momentarily. In the meantime, guys, we'll all play our Viking horn to call him back. Let's see if we can get him to come back. That's my Steve call right there, guys. But but yeah, it could be something with the Restream software, and that's not something either one of us can control. or he could have had a problem with his internet. Somebody may have run over a power pole. So we'll sit around and see if we can figure it out. But in the meantime, questions, comments, concerns, if you hadn't already, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff that's on I made my own digital billboard, guys. So I wouldn't have to like keep, throwing stuff up on the screen like this or like that. So I made my own little digital billboard back here for y'all. Yeah, I had a update from my modem and my router today, and I declined doing it because I was afraid it would cause a problem. How often do you clean your honeycomb? I'm going to be honest with you. Uh, well, look at this. Not all that often. As you can see, that one's very dirty. I'm going to confess, guys. I only clean it when it becomes a problem. If it starts marking the back of my cuts real bad, or if I start getting micro explosions under there, I will clean it. But for the most part, I vacuum it out, and I keep rocking. Now, occasionally when I'm caught up and I don't have anything to do, I will do like a really deep clean of the machines, and I will clean the honeycombs. But this one has not been cleaned in quite a while, as you can tell by the black square right in the middle of it. And I just got through cutting all those things out for May, so you can really, if you look closely, you can see the outline of the jobs I've been cutting for May. So that's it's pretty sad. But yeah. Now the one in Enclosure Zilla, I just recently cleaned it because I was getting micro explosions in there, and one of them was so bad that it knocked my cut like a half inch out of alignment because it raised the material up, and when it fell, it was a half inch off, so I had to break down and clean that one. But anyway, Greg, are you running air assist? Or are you talking about the honeycombs flaring up? Now, if the honeycomb's trying to catch fire, it's probably time. When you get to where it's black, you probably need to clean it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I haven't cleaned mine, but that's probably about where you need to get it. Where do you get it? I make them. I don't have the materials in here right now. All of my materials are out in my kiln, staying dry. But I buy pine panels that are 3/4 inch thick and 1x4s, and I construct them. I have a process. I think I've got a video or two out there of how I go about it. Yeah, see, I use magnets. Like in this enclosure, I've got some magnets that are almost a half inch thick that are stuck to the bottom of my honeycomb, and then the honeycomb sits down on top of the metal plate. So that's keeping those micro explosions down. One of the things that you can do to help alleviate that, is to maximize the airspace between the honeycomb and that reflective surface in the bottom. I have a video of how I clean mine, which is simple. It is a mixture of the cheapest oven cleaner, unscented oven cleaner you can get, and a nice strong water hose or pressure washer. Works really well for me. I thought I had a video of it, but I'm not seeing it. So, but I'm probably getting ready to do, hopefully, another video on machine maintenance, because I am going to have to do a thorough cleaning. I'm going to probably have to disassemble my Acer V35 after this job I just finished, and like clean the fan, the heat sink, everything, because it's been pretty bad. Da, da, da. Wound up having to swap it out once, Peter. I wound up having to swap it out when I went to the V35. It done really well up until I put the V35 in there, and I was having a little more lingering smoke than I wanted, so I basically went to a Vivor 6-inch fan and just got some reducers. So I'm still running 4-inch hose, just to try to move a little bit more air, and it is working much better now. It worked well with the P20, but when I got up to 35, it kind of got to where it wasn't enough. Ooh, Oh, low res, Steve. Okay, there you go. There you go. Oh, you you kind of look like Minecraft, Steve, for a minute there.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know if my router just dumped for a minute or what, but
As somebody's figured out where you live and they're out there pulling on those wires.
yeah, something.
Uh, yeah, if you're start Greg, if you're starting to get underside burn or like marks where you can like see the outline of your honeycomb on the bottom of your material, it's time. I'm starting to get that on this enclosure, so it's getting close to time for me to clean it too. But like I said, that may be a video pretty soon because I do need to really break these machines down and clean them.
We're talking about cleaning the honeycomb.
Yes,
Yeah. Uh,
they want to figure out how to keep it as clean as I keep mine.
um, wow. Uh, the thing that I've always noticed is when um, you start getting more marks on the back of your material, it's probably reburning that sticky goo that's being vaporized when it hits it, or if you're hearing the little pops and explosions. But it's usually a you'll notice more marking on the back of your material that it's a good sign that your honeycomb's a little too dirty. So
Yeah, yeah, that was the two things I told them. When you're hearing booms and your materials bouncing off the honeycomb, it's time.
yep.
John said you got so many subs it shut you down, like broke your computer.
Well, uh, uh,
Uh,
it that would be I guess that would be an okay problem to have, but I don't think it should affect my computer. So
and Brian wants to know if you got any freezing up there yet.
well, we have had frost. Um, I did mow my lawn more to mow the leaves not that long ago. So, but tonight it's supposed to stay warm. But my internet, my neighborhood, most of the utilities are still above ground. So the heaving and frosting shouldn't have an effect unless they get so heavy they just fall off the poles. So red Chinese red and black laser question: is there a way to have a focal length where we can use the lower doors for a pass through? So it technically yes. You as long as you can get a different extension tube that will bring your actual focus lens down farther. So you can do two different things. You can get a longer, like a 4 to 5 inch focal length, and then you can get a tube extension. And you got to remember, up until that point, the uh, the beam isn't focused. It's just traveling in its kind of normal state. Once it hits that lens, that's when it starts focusing. So you can take it down deeper, but you may need to buy an aftermarket tube that's longer to mount the adjustable end of your your laser lens holder in. So should be able to find one that works for that. But kind of the other caveat with these is you never know what parts your Chinese laser was used. A lot of them are typical, but then I've seen some people say my laser looks identical to yours except for this, and then you're like, that was okay. That was the end of the parts run, you know.
Yeah. Chris said the xTool truck probably took out your wires.
Now that when I was building this shop and I was having the joists delivered, the truck did give a nice tug on the cable lines. Then the local cable company wasn't too happy to come out and string new cable lines for them. So
Yeah. Don, I don't know about the K40, but I have Monport's M40, and I can tell you the reason that I took the bed out of mine is because if you don't, you're basically limited to cutting 3 millimeter acrylic, and that's it, because you can't move your material closer to the laser, but you can't drop it down with the bed in there. So I ripped mine out and put a uh, was it 8 or 9 inch lab jack in there,
mm-hmm.
so that I could technically make myself a auto up and down bed to use, and it's allowed me to be able to do other materials in there. So that's why I ripped the one out of mine. I think you still have the bed in yours, Steve, or have you ripped it out as well?
uh I have it in there because I need to get the final parts to do my lifting bed. I picked up a small, what is it, 8 by 10 honeycomb that fits in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
the little bitty one.
I just need to figure that out, and I still want to do that, get this one set up, and put out a video about some of the options and recommendations I would have on, if you want an inexpensive CO2 just to do acrylic and that working area works for you, then that is that's a good rate, good route to go. Um,
Yeah, yeah, mine works great for acrylic,
mhm.
but that's about all I do with it. I mean, I can cut small pieces, of material and stuff with it, but for the most part, it's just acrylic. Let's see here. But here is the video of how I did mine and what all is in mine. If you're interested in looking at that, that'll answer some of the questions for you about why people do it, because I did it myself. And you have to, like, when you add air assist, it changes the focal point, and then if you don't change the bed, then you're never going to get it focused again. But it's a rabbit hole, though. You got to be prepared to do some engineering and do a little bit of creative work to your machine.
Drop that in my channel as well for anyone over there wants to check out your video.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate you sending me some views there.
Um, Someone was asking before it scrolled again on me about the acrylic to use for the glass, and if it was a color or something. I was just trying to find it again, but here it is. Uh, Color will have some effect on it, but it's not really useful if you don't have it properly tested. So the stuff that Clack and I are using in our custom builds is some laser safety acrylic that we get from JTech Photonics. They actually test it because you get it with the corner curled back. They've taken a meter through it to actually see how much it blocks of that wavelength of light. And so that's the stuff I trust the most. It comes out at about an OD3. Ideally, you'd really want OD4 to protect yourself from these, but it's doing 90% of the work there. And so if you have it in a spot where you're not just staring at it, but you can kind of see what's going on in there, that's pretty good setup.
Yeah. Eddie's got a concern about condensation, and I know that varies with your setup, but it's always a possibility. I would think lower humidity would be a plus, and I don't know what the humidity runs in Japan, but he says he's in Japan outside and worried about condensation with the temperatures dropping. What's your thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, well, I mean, on the CO2 lasers, that tube does heat up, and I mean, it's liquid cooled, and so condensation can be a big issue on there because you actually have kind of a brass end and whatnot, and if that starts getting condensation, then you can start getting some weird conductivity and such. Diodes still of a concern because your module, those diode emitters and everything, they're going to start heating up, and yeah, you could get condensation in there, and then that's going to be right on those electronics, and that drips somewhere. It could cause a short. And now you've at best killed your module, if not your whole laser. So uh, the other thing being that if you're bringing your computer out to do it, those don't like to go from warm to freezing to warm, and as well. So I would do your best to try to stay above freezing if there's a way that you can keep your working area at least around 40. Um, that would be a little more ideal, and the less temperature change, the better. But it is definitely something to be concerned about.
All right, Jeff. This is what I use. I don't. I do not believe it to be anti-static, but it may be. It does have the little metal wire in here, so I don't know. All I know is this stuff is affordable and it works really well for lasers because it doesn't have as much of a danger of getting little pinholes in it like the stuff that they typically send with the machines. This is more of I don't know if it's latex, rubber, or what, but it's very flexible.
It's usually
You can see
vinyl.
through it. Yeah, it may be vinyl, but you can see through it. It's pretty durable so far. The cats haven't punched holes in it because when you have cats near a piece of shiny aluminum foil hose, it tends to get holes punched in it for some reason. So this so far has not given me any issues. Now keep in mind, I'm only using on Enclosure Zilla. I'm only using probably 3 foot of this to connect it, and it goes out through the wall. I use the smaller hose over here on the CNC. I've also got the smaller hose on my chip extraction over here. But this is actually the 20-foot long piece that I bought so I could run the xTool S1 in the shop and vent it out my cat door. So this is actually the other end of this is hooked to the S1 over there. This part goes out the cat door so that I can so I can run it without choking.
Poor cats coming in and trying to get in the shop and getting a face full of smoke.
Well, no, I pull like 6 feet of it out the cat door and then turn it and point it toward the woods over here. And I put a 4-inch inline fan out there to kind of drag it out. But Callie and Tiger are thin enough that they can just like slide in right beside it. But poor old Fluffy she'll get in there and you could hear her scratching, try to try to drag herself through there. It's kind of funny. I wish I could catch it on camera. Y'all love it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do, 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 do. All right, this is an age old debate. Some people disagree.
Well, if you're doing vector images, I would defocus the lens just a little bit. But I mean, if you're getting hairlines on 0.08, that's a pretty good thing because then it's really dialed in. Your focus is spot on because that one they claim is 0.08 square, I believe, on the 10-watt D1. So I would, if you're getting hairlines, about the only way to correct it is either defocus or increase your lines per inch. So
Yeah, I usually go around. I think it's around 250 with most of my machines. Basically I put the LPI up to the point to where the the path is like 0.08 so that I'm using, like you said, I'm using the most amount of that beam. I've got it as close as I can get it together. And then if you do still have an issue, like you said, drag that focus up just a little bit, and that'll blur those edges together. So, but yeah, that's test, and more tests, guys. I mean, I can't stress it enough. Woo!
yep.
This time change is really still kicking my butt.
Well, Jody, thanks for watching the video. And the question, I've got it painted white on the inside and the outside, and am I concerned with flashback? Not really. The reason I painted it white on the inside was twofold. I wanted a coating on the material so it wouldn't be as absorbent of the vapors and the smoke. It was still just a, unfinished plywood before that. And so adding a finish to it will kind of keep a barrier that you can clean a little bit and it won't absorb all those smoke and odors. The other thing is that it reflects the light that I have in there so that I can see better. But as far as on the bottom where you might get some flashback, I still have the metal, like the aluminum or stainless steel tray that comes with the honeycomb bed. That's down on the bottom. And so that's actually even more reflective, but it's like 4 inches away. By then, the light is fairly diffused. So really the only flashback that I would be getting is off the honeycomb panel itself.
Yeah, if I sit still, I get to the awning. Can't help it. I'm old. You're making it do it worse now.
Are all the diode makers in China? Are there no manufacturers in the U.S. of hobby grade stuff? I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna find one that doesn't at least have the core parts sourced from China. And I'm losing my thought about that. There was there was a company that I had talked with a few times that they do actually manufacture a lot of their lasers in the U.S., but some of their parts are still sourced from, overseas and such. Um, but I haven't come across many that are actually any hobby grade diode lasers that are manufactured here in the U.S.
I haven't seen any. I've been looking at CO2s too, and I'll tell you, there's a big price difference when you go from the overseas machines to the U.S. made ones. A really large price difference.
You know,
My buddy over at CNC Trophy called me this morning. He's wanting to upgrade his CO2, so he called me to kind of help do some research. And wow, whew. Some of these companies won't even tell you how much they are. You have to email them.
oh yeah, yep.
It's like, wow. Uh, I think WTLC, I think that's what the question we asked a while ago was about JTech Photonics is where we get our acrylic and stuff. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah, Tom, we do have a lot of curling up here. We get a lot of Olympic curlers coming through the area and from the area.
Like,
So, but I can imagine. So my dad's been in Arizona for 24 years now. And so I do go down there and visit him. Depending on the time of year you're up here, I can understand being happy when you got back to Phoenix. There's a lot of years that I've gone to visit my dad. I was happy to get back to Minnesota after being in Phoenix as well. So, but yeah, curling. Who would have thought?
yeah, I'm thinking about starting a curling team here in Alabama.
I mean, we played indoors here mostly too, so it's very doable. I give him one of my.
Well, you'd have to have a hockey rink or something, wouldn't you?
Oh
We
no,
don't have those.
you don't play this on a hockey rink. You play it on a curling rink. It's a special
Well,
setup for
is
it.
it? Yeah, but is it not ice?
Not all ice is made the same.
Okay. last time I looked, it was you take water and freeze it.
There's different ways to.
Well, I don't think we have anywhere you can play curling at anywhere.
Yeah, well, you'd be
Uh,
surprised. Florida's got quite a bit of hockey down there.
I used to play street hockey, but we did it on rollerblades. Uh, the Acer extension kit. What I did is I don't really recall exactly what. I'm pretty sure I just used the tubing it came with, but it reaches just to the end of the machine if you use the factory tubing and have it cut in yours. But if you use the black tubing that comes with the quick connects, it will actually fit inside that tube. And so you can shove that in there for about an inch or so, and it's more than adequate to hold the pressures for air assist. And if you really don't feel comfortable, you think it's going to come off, you could use some heat shrink or zip tie to secure it together. But my other line, the little black plastic stuff, like I've got ran to over here, slides up inside that and exits the enclosure and goes to the regulators and everything. So,
Yeah, there it
because
is.
I didn't buy any more hose or anything.
Yeah. So the other Steve, Hobo with Wood, Rabbit Laser USA, they're assembled in the US, CO2 fibers, but yeah, they don't have diodes. So just the name escaped me. AGT, if you're interested in my lenses, I will put a link in the chat there on I'll make sure I drop it into both. That's the easiest way right now for me is to go right through my Etsy shop, and you can kind of check out the description there. Most importantly is just check that you have the typical brass end cap and that it's about 14 millimeters, and then these should drop in for you. And I do get them shipped out pretty quick. Generally, I'm shipping them within 24 hours. So if I know people need them when they order them, so I try to get them out to them quick. So
We'll see. I'm gonna hold on to my review until after I get them.
Well, don't worry. I put an extra little baggie of some white stuff in there for you, just so.
Yeah, I'll get my lenses and they'll be ticking. Oh man. Yeah, I think Mark. Yeah, JTech does make. Now that you mention it, I seen that on their website when I'm buying my glass. JTech Photonics has a lot of parts and stuff. I tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not too sure the Clack Shack isn't gonna take some of these machines and make some kind of Frankenstein machine. Want to get caught up, if that ever happens.
I was gonna say, when's that gonna be?
I don't know. Whenever it happens.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I've played around with a little bit of that, and that's one of the things. Like I've mentioned, is I want to get through kind of some of the current lasers that are on the bench and get back to some projects and share some fun stuff I've been working with some local friends and such. So,
well, I
what
thought
are
I
you
had
digging
this
for?
Acer. I'm trying to find a piece of Acer hose, but I don't. So
The air
I thought
hose?
I had. Yeah, I thought I had a short piece of it in here, but
Oh, okay. Are you gonna measure it or something?
no, I was just going to kind of demonstrate.
Okay.
But I could demonstrate with this smaller hose. If you get a Niji and some of the other machines use this really tiny air hose, and it works kind of the same way. You can actually take this smaller hose and insert it into the 1/4 inch that we typically use, and it'll stay in there pretty good. But you can use a piece of heat shrink or electrical tape if you want, duct tape if you really want to redneck it up, or you can put a zip tie around there to just kind of put some pressure. But you know, I may have a larger piece of it. I don't have one in here, but I keep a lot of little short pieces because you can use this to make adapters to connect that hose to itself. And then I got a few.
Yeah,
I
one
got one
less.
less. I I got a few fittings because I always I use the same fittings over and over, and so I just order a whole new pack to get that one. So, but I had to use two of these guys here to mount my water separators inside the enclosure. So, but but yeah, air hose. I'm constantly working on air hoses, constantly. That is my laser toolbox, like
So,
repair box. It's not my assembly box.
so I we don't have a local Lowe's here. I got to drive about an hour to find one, but I was there's one about 15 minutes from my flying field. So I was out there kind of getting some last flights in yesterday and helping clean up the field and tuck some things away. So I swung by because apparently I don't know, maybe they've done these in past Christmases, but they have these little miniature mechanics toolboxes. So they've got the two drawers on them, and I don't remember if it has a lid that flips open or not, but they're not terribly big. And some people have been getting them and saying they're great for the lasers and such. So I thought, hey, I'm nearby. I'm gonna go see if they have some because I'm always looking for some unique ways to keep some of the stuff organized. And of course, there's a big old sign saying, "Hey, we're currently out of stock. We'll have more as we get closer to Black Friday." Like,
Yeah.
come on.
See, I got this. I got this thing. Look at it. Look at that. Whoop whoop. I
Yeah.
got a drawer there. And of course, this is slap full of MDF and failed attempt. Well, actually, this was a failed attempt at a. It works, but the good news is it's wood and the fiber will not mark it. But I use this to do my jig stuff with on the fiber. But yeah, this thing right here, man, I got lucky. I went to Lowe's, like you said. They had that one, and when I went to like use it, it wouldn't go up and down. So the little representative over there was like, "Oh man, that was broke." I'm like, "Well, you have one like this in a box that I can take with me?" No, that's the only one we got left. And I was like, "Well, this one's broke." And so I made him an offer, and it was like 170 something. Klein was with me when I bought it. It's like 170 something dollars, and I offered them just basically scrap prices for it, and they took it.
Nice.
And then when I got home, the only thing wrong with it was there's a shaft in the bottom that connects all the like this little crank here that connects everything. and somebody forgot to put the splines in the rod. So now I did have to disassemble it and reassemble it, but yeah, I got a steal on that thing, and it's got wheels, so you'd be happy to know that you can roll it,
Yeah, I
and
gotta
it
have the
will
wheels.
fit. It fits a Sane Smart 4040 Pro, as well as a comm marker. Actually, two comm markers.
1.5.
Yeah, yeah, that's a touchy subject. Uh, cat chewed through air hose. Yeah, you got to keep some parts on hand if you got cats. Cats can be destructive
Well,
when they're.
so
That's that. I bet that cat was like, "Wow."
well, I mean, luckily he was able to replace it. Yeah, usually you can find some pretty close air hose or tubing at the hardware store, but that kind of reminded me of a time that I used to review model airplanes, and so I'd have this Savage paper. It's like a 10-foot wide roll of white paper, so it'd make just a neutral background with no shadows, and I'd have lighting set up. And so I set this airplane parts up to photograph them, and I had to run upstairs to do something. Got sidetracked. Came back half hour later, and there's like this claw mark in just one of the control surfaces. Like they had gotten curious and then startled. And I got to take pictures of this thing yet. So
Yeah. Chris, the only problem with that is I don't want to have to beat a hole in my concrete. I'm kind of attached to it because my slab is actually higher than the air compressor. So the only way for me to get it lower than all the rest of the system would be to either put it outside so that it would freeze when it gets cold, or drill a hole in the concrete. I've already got one water separator right before the regulator, and it gets water out of it, but it's been missing some. So my goal was to try to catch any that gets missed that may be making its way to the laser. And what's supposed to happen is the air comes in one side, goes through this little rock looking thing, and as it comes out those little tiny holes, it basically causes this water to separate and drip down,
what
and
is
then the
going on?
exit isn't touching. Oh, freeze! Steve's frozen again. Steve, you're frozen again. But yeah, they're just gonna have to work where they are, and if they don't work, then oh well. But I figured out that the problem was that my air intake on my air compressor was in pitiful shape. So once I fixed that, it's not even my external water separators aren't really getting any water now. I just ran the machine too hard and had the dirty filter in it. But I ordered a lot more filters. So, oh, I would imagine it would work best if it was at the lowest point in the line. But the lowest point in my line is the air compressor, and there's nothing I can do about that without like mounting it to the roof or something.
Like
There you are, Steve. You back?
someone got a voodoo doll of me out there or something tonight.
Uh, I don't know. Something's going on. You know any good IT people you can get to look at your network?
That's no. This time it was my Stream Deck shut down, which then shut down the webcam, and like I could still hear you,
I could hear you,
but
but I couldn't see. You were like,
yeah, yeah it's always a flattering pose where it pauses. Man, this is what I get for
oh,
coming back out to the shop today.
yeah. I see burying some cable in your future.
Well, I've
Or aren't
got
you? Or,
no, I've got hardwired cable out here. Um,
oh, do you?
but
You need to fire your IT guy then.
well, I'm going to be paying attention to Black Friday sales on mesh networks because I'm about ready to kick this one out. It's not the first time I've had some issues with it. So
Well, I've got the TP link. It worked pretty well, but I found that burying Cat 6 cable and putting in a gigabit access point and switch out here was my best approach. So I've actually got a gigabit TP link gigabit switch with a Wi-Fi access point that's meshable, and two Cat 6 runs going to the house.
yeah, that's what I've
So
got is two buried cats. When I built this place, I dropped in. I mean, back at the time it was coax and two Cat 6, and then separate conduit came out with power and such. So I was thinking ahead, but yeah, the mesh stuff that I've got, and so that goes all the way back to the main router. And I have a wireless access point out here, but it doesn't have an Ethernet uplink. So if it starts getting bad, then it's like,
Yeah. It may be your neighbors. They may be like jamming your signal or something.
something, yeah. So,
That seriously, the tree was an accident.
yeah,
It was a casual. It was a casualty.
yeah, we got to make sure we highlight this one. So, no, actually, so we're actually in a river valley. So back when the glaciers happened, they carved out this big wide river valley. Now the river is just a fraction of it, but it's just a huge layer of limestone and such. And so when I was digging through my yard, I kind of laid out, okay, this is the path for the electrical and everything.
Come here.
And we hit a big, massive chunk of limestone that we could not bust out. And I wasn't going to rent anything more explosive to do it. But we were able to curve around it because I was doing conduit just to double insure myself from problems. So I had to make just a gentle curve around that and was able to get it out here. But yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out on networking gear for Black Friday, but I will be trying to keep an eye on any laser type deals that I come across in this next week. Whether they're lasers themselves or supplies I use, I'll be kind of keeping an eye on that, and I will try to make sure, like I did the last time, is that I'll send out some links for people that if I find some good deals. Try not to inundate with people with it, but just things that I find useful to have in my shop or machines that I've used that have a really good deal. I'll try to make sure I share those out through my page and maybe drop something in the laser engraving community group as well. So, and if people see things too, this is a good time to restock the supplies with your paint markers, your glues. Maybe they'll have some wood or some acrylics. It's a lot of that stuff. I mean, I don't buy just to consume. I take advantage of these days to say, hey, I can get 20% off something I was going to buy in the next week anyway. So
yeah, the sales are probably going to be pretty interesting. I'm curious to see what all's out there. I got lucky today and some stuff I found on sale, like a little fastener kit for hanging pictures and stuff for like $2. I've actually been using them quite a bit here lately.
So Jody, yeah, when I built this garage, I actually had it in mind. It was still going to be used as a garage with just the last 10 feet of it being shop, but over the years kind of kicked the cars out and it's become full-time workshop. But I did insulate it pretty well when I did that. Insulation and drywall, vapor barrier, all that stuff. Same thing in the ceiling. So it does retain the temperature pretty well, but it does, it's not perfectly sealed. It does leak, and the relative humidity is going to come in, or the relative humidity is going to go out as such in winter. So I do heat it to a point. I keep threatening to upgrade that with a mini split that does both heating and cooling, but for this reason, I don't want to just go buy, your typical Mr. Cool whatever DIY unit that might be good in general across the US. I want to get something that's really built for a northern climate because I really need it to take the humidity down in the summer and maybe just cool it off a little bit. But I really want it to be effective at heating in the winter. And so making sure it can operate decently in lower temperatures, I want to try to get that more of a northern climate one. And so just had a lot of hit and miss with some of the HVAC contractors I could talk with about that. So
yeah, noticed that the whole Southern Canada thing's catching on, by the way.
I see that. So.
Yeah. Steve, it ain't the fuzz he's having a problem with. People won't come to his house. He can't get them to show up to give him a quote.
That just sounds bad.
How many have you tried to get to come out there? Nobody
Well,
showed up yet?
I mean, I tried a couple of them, and they were trying, and I mean, they were trying to return my calls, and it just became phone tag, and I was like, this was just for a phone consult, right? I didn't need them to actually come to my house. I needed them to give me a phone consult because I gave them the dimensions, what the garage is built out of, the heights and the widths and everything, and it was ridiculous trying to play phone tag. So I got busy with some other things, and we'll reset it next year. Hopefully, they're a little bit slowed down on their end.
Brian, to be honest with you, for what I use my 3D printer for at the moment, I'm happy with what I got. I mean, it's not a speed demon. It's not fast, but most of what I make are clips and little mounting brackets and stuff like that. And what I've got works. Now, like I said, if somebody decides they want to let me try one out, like Steve had, I'm probably not going to turn it down. But as far as me going out and trying to buy one, I just, like I said, what I've got works, because what I do is I start the print when I come out to the shop to go to work. So it takes a little while, but I'm not in a hurry when I'm printing things because I'm not printing stuff for sale. I'm just printing like tools and things for me around the shop, pieces for like my camera mounts and cable management type stuff. So it's not really a concern for me. Hashtag Steve needs heat. Yeah, I noticed Steve's wearing a sweatshirt tonight.
I'm layered up. It's actually quite warm in here today. It's it's actually gone up. It was 66 earlier. Now it's 68. So it's pretty good in here today. But we're supposed to start dropping our temps in the next couple days. So yeah.
Posey wants to know what camera you're using. He said it's really clear when you're not froze.
Well,
Oh,
I've got two that are set up. So the one that's on me right now is just a Anchor 2K. It's a Power Conference 2K, and so I'll drop a link for that if you're curious. The other one is a Logitech Brio 4K, and that's the one that's on that was on the xTool P2. So they're both decent cameras.
let's see. Here I am with my little old 1080p, 60 frames per second Elgato. But I'm running my main camera is an Elgato. This guy. Oh, I've got a Logitech. And me and Steve both had a ZV1 that we at one time we used ZV1s until we got the webcam stuff up to where we could run higher resolutions. But I run Elgato Stream Deck, Elgato uh, camera, and also have the Elgato mic, which I got me a nice little arm for it now, Steve.
Well,
One up me again. But but and I have of course I have basically my board camera inside my enclosure for doing video production, and that is that is a why was it showing an old image? Huh? That was that one that's over the top of my table is that Atom Stack camera that I don't use for lasers because I don't trust the way it mounts.
yeah.
The camera works great. The way it mounts, not so much. So
Yeah, it's good for like one-off use, but you pretty much have to calibrate it every time you use it. So
yeah, I wasn't thrilled with the mounting system they used.
and I've seen a
But it's a
few
good camera. The camera works great.
others like it too. So I think if you could use the ball end but more hard mounted on something, that would be great.
Yeah, I wonder if that fixed it. Nope. That camera's froze. It's like Steve. It's just frozen up. But but yeah, yeah. The cat likes to. Fluffy does this to me a lot. Callie usually doesn't do this to me. Apparently, she sees her reflection. But I will be editing video, and I will, out of the corner of the camera, I will see a cat with its leg up over its head, cleaning itself. And I usually try to edit that out, but this is live, guys. So you know, Callie's in here doing her thing, hanging out with me. She actually has got to where she hangs out with me more than Fluffy does. Fluffy used to be the one that liked to hang out, but now Callie's kind of, always in here. And she leaves me little surprises. You never know what you're going to get, whether it's a mole, a chipmunk, a little baby squirrel. That's not Fluffy, though.
We
It's
need we
Callie.
need more Fluffy.
Uh, I could probably call her and she'd come, but her hair's bad. Callie's is bad enough. I pet her and it's like flies everywhere. Callie's is bad, is worse, or Fluffy's is worse. All right, guys, if you hadn't already, subscribe, hit the button, like Al the Alien says, guys, like and subscribe,
Al the alien.
all that good stuff. Yeah, that's Al the Alien. You, you know, I got him up here too on the wall beside me. But like and subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. Steve's trying to get to the 10,000 mark. I'm hoping that 52 of you guys got him 52 subscribers. We're gonna go check and see right quick and see if they got you 52.
Well,
But he is needing a few more to get to his goal of 10,000 before the end of the year. And I also would like to get to 20, which I don't know how I got there. I don't know how I got as far as I've got, but y'all keep doing whatever you're doing. I appreciate it. And I'll promise I'll keep putting videos out. 9.96. So you're down to only what, 40 or so?
let's see here. Officially 9961. So another 39 to go.
39, guys. That's all we need. So go tell your friends. Like just tell people. It don't matter if they like lasers or not. Steve's a nice guy. You can get past the whole laser thing. But yeah, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully if the back keeps getting better, or I can get me some help. Hopefully now that it's cooling off, I'm gonna be able to get some sawmill time in. And it's been a while since I got to run the sawmill. I'm probably gonna have to work on it for a while before I can. Brian said he subbed 5 times tonight.
Yeah, making all those shadow accounts that they'll just remove.
Yeah. Brandy said she subscribed to you.
Well, I appreciate everybody that's coming over that maybe hasn't checked out my videos or has watched them but haven't subscribed yet. So it'll be nice to hit that mark, and I promise I'll keep doing what I'm doing. So
Yeah. And like I said, hopefully we'll get some content with some more things. What's this about a self portrait? My alien?
oh, did
I got
that
hair.
did
I
that get
got
up there?
hair.
Yeah.
I got hair. Yeah, Posey. If I did more 3D printing, I might replace it. But like I said, I bought it for the sole purpose of there were brackets and there were some little things that I wanted for cable management and like mounting my battery charger and my wireless mics to the wall and all that. All of those things were the reason that I got a 3D printer. It's more for making tools than it is for making things to sell. I've got plenty of machines out here that I make stuff to sell with. Oh, the tools is what I did it for. And didn't I send you the files for the mic holder and the battery charger holder, didn't I?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
Those are
So,
cool. You should check those out since you got that high speed printer. You could probably print them in like 30 seconds with that thing.
well, I don't know. They I know I printed out the camera one, but I haven't printed out those yet. But yeah, like the Benchy, the little ship thing that's the popular test print, it does those in 17 minutes. So
Yeah. See, you could have those because these are smaller than a Benchy and a lot easier.
Mhm.
I think you could probably have both of them printed in like 5 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I like it, Posey. Like I said, it's not a very big workspace, but literally, I mean, like little brackets like this is what I print. I design them in CAD and print them. or cable management clips for the Sculpt Fun, because the Sculpt Fun has terrible cable management out of the box. But you take these guys, any machine that has 2020 extrusion that has the holes in the middle, you can just slide that in there and twist it, and now it becomes a place that you can lock your cables in. And I got like a bunch of these in case I get another Sculpt Fun in here.
Saying you don't like
And then of course,
the tape that they give you on the Sculpt Fun?
no, no. And then of course I wanted to see if I could make something like a hinge.
Yeah.
So I made a hinge. But mostly, that I gave Klein talked me out of my extra camera mount that I had, so I got to print me another one because I've got a camera that I bought. But yeah, pretty 3D printed parts. So, but yeah, if I was printing, to make money off of it, I would probably go bigger. But I did stockpile a bunch of filament. So
Yeah, that now's a good time to grab some of that because I've seen a few deals on it. So
yeah, give me just a second there. Was it David? I can send you the link. I think it's to the exact one that I bought. I bought two of them. I've got one that's on my 8er, and I've got one that's on my P20, and one that's on my A25 or V25, V35. Jeez. So let me see if I can find it.
yeah, Posey, that's cool building those large figurines. I actually have a local friend who he and I have talked about collaborating on printing out all the parts for like a full size Star Wars droid, and painting it up and putting it together. But there's some cool stuff you could do with the printers if you break them into sections. But yeah, having a bigger build volume definitely cuts down on that.
Yeah, this is a drag chain. You can do it one of two ways. You can do half of it and go to the midway point of the machine, or if you're feeling froggy and you just want to make it look slick, I guess you could go further. But this drag chain that I bought is 39.3 inches. That's why I had enough of it to do two machines, because I only run mine from like the midpoint of the machine out to the end. So it only technically needed about 18 inches or so of drag chain. But that's the drag chain that I used for my xTool V35 as well as my P20. So I can tell you that the cabling will fit inside there. And it's not like some of it to where you have to like fish it through there. You can actually pop this open, and once you get the cable in there, you can snap it back together. It makes it a little easier than trying to fish it all the way through.
Yeah, it's nice getting the cable chain like that. So
that Atom Stack camera, I think it was around 20 inches or so, wasn't it, for the Atom Stack? Basically, just move it up and down until you can see your entire work area. You want it as close as you can and still see the work area.
I don't think it needed to be quite that high. I want to say it was like 14 to 16 was the minimum. So, because I know a few people were asking me, would it fit into those medium-sized shade tents, but the enclosures, the tent style enclosures. And so I was trying to figure that out. But I want to say 14 to 16 inches off your working area is roughly where it ends up needing to be.
Yeah. Jordy, a drag chain is basically just a housing to, I don't have a camera I can put on my big machine, but it's basically just a housing to support cabling so that it just makes it a little bit easier to manage. It also kind of protects it from nicks and abrasions and stuff like that. Most of the time they're made out of plastic. You just secure the ends of it on a machine, and I'm guessing Steve's going to get one.
Yeah.
Which I actually do have a machine that I could bring over here, but it's kind of heavy, and I don't know if I need to be picking it up.
So it usually goes something like this. It'll curl back on itself. So this point will be fixed, and then this one will follow the gantry, and all your cables will basically go, there's the camera, in there, and this will keep them from snagging on anything and from getting flipped around and twisted around too much. So it protects the cables, but allows your machine to move around with them. And I think this one is that style as well, where you can flip up the individual. Yeah, so you can take these pieces out as needed to get your cables back in, and then they just snap back place. So those are the nice ones to get.
Oh, wait a minute. I just realized something. I don't have light burn on tonight. So, ha, we can. I can actually show you if you can see my drag chain. But hang on, we'll swap it over to Enclosure Zilla and see if you can see it. And yes, my, my honeycomb's dirty again. But basically, the drag chain, if you can see it, this is it kind of running behind the machine right here with the cabling and everything. So as the machine goes forward, it just allows this cabling to stay in this sheath, and it just kind of rests down beside the machine. And when it comes backwards, it just rolls it back out flat. So that's how it works. That's what it looks like. And that, guys, is my fisheye camera. Everybody always asking me about these fisheye cameras and how well they work. Let me blow this up for a second here, just for a split second. Oh, why is it flopping? As you can see, I get a pretty good image. Lightburn's lens correction does a good job of fixing that. Uh, I can't really get it close up. I'd have to take a picture and share it with you guys. But yeah, I'll take a picture and I'll share it with you that way. Basically, it is just zip tied to the hoses, and then the hoses are connected to the machine. And it needs cleaning. It's been running really hard this week, so don't be critical. All right, there's the drag chain. That's a factory one. That's not one you bought, Steve.
No, but
Yeah.
so you can kind of see it moving along with the gantry there, and that's what they do.
But you know what I just realized? Since I have a 3D printer, I can now make that bracket that's going to hold that drag chain that I don't have.
You could actually print. Uh, you could print individual pieces of a drag chain if you needed to.
Ooh, wrong one, wrong button. Which button is it? That button. Why is my camera so white all of a sudden? What the heck's done happened here?
Sorry, I sent the gremlins your way.
Apparently. Jeez, I look like it. Oh my goodness. What is going on here? It has done gotten crazy.
So,
There we go.
what you've got a short week for Thanksgiving, but are you just going to be busy cranking out parts for May, or you got anything else in the works?
Oh no, I'm playing catch up. I got to do the family thing, but I'm playing catch up. That's the name of the game around here.
Yeah.
So as soon as I can get caught up, because I still got a couple of videos I got to get out, and I don't know how many more times I can tell these people, hey, look, I was down with a medical problem, and I'm just getting my head above water. Oh my gosh, it looks even worse, guys. This machine looks so much worse in this picture. But yeah, this is the way that I got it on there. Temporarily until I print that bracket that I just realized I need to print. So here we go, right here. But that's all I did. I zip tied it to the hoses and just letting them pull it as they go. And yes, that's the reason it's so dirty right there is when I built this enclosure, I left a hole underneath the door to allow air to enter the machine, and that's where all of this dusty air from inside the shop goes into the enclosure. And so it collects right there on that corner of the machine. So makes it look terrible. That picture on this Apple phone just like really accentuates all that dust. What am I drinking? Water?
Well, I'm yeah, like I mentioned, I've got a couple of machines here that I'm working with, but I do have. I'm hopefully going to get one kind of Thanksgiving themed project out yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll even fire it up on a live stream and do some P2 work with it or something. But I've got Thursday and Friday off, so we'll be definitely spending some time outside of. Wow, you got the high beams on. I do have some family coming over. I'll be cooking for them and whatnot. But it's also going to get a little chillier out here, so. Hopefully
Yeah.
the shop stays warm enough without me having to crank up extra heat. But hoping to spend some time out here doing a few things like that.
All right. I think that got it dialed back in. Apparently, somehow or another, my darn auto exposure came on the camera, and
That'll do it.
it was not reading things properly. Apparently, it's still a little washed out for me. But let me do this. Let me put that there, and why's my zoom on? And fix it on this end a little bit. There we go. All right, that's back where I had it. Whew. I tell you, you done sent me your gremlins.
Brian, that's true in the fall. You hit the spring and 30 feels quite warm.
Uh,
But yeah, hopefully you get caught up. I know I want to get caught up and play around with. Apparently, LED lights still is on the list, but I've got a number of those project things that are in my on the to do list, either for myself or my kids, the nephews. They're always asking for 3D printed or laser printed things as well. So a lot of opportunity for some projects. Just need some you need some time.
yeah. My camera messed up and it got my attention. I can't help it. I can't have a problem. See, she makes fun of me for that, but in reality, she she likes that I'm that way because when something tears up in the house, I fix it like right away. But yeah, it's getting kind of cold down here too. Echo, what's the temperature outside?
Right now, it's 47 degrees Fahrenheit.
See,
Tonight, expect a low of 45 degrees.
see, it's awful cold out there tonight.
Well, okay, yeah.
45. I mean, Chris said it's expected to be 55 at his. Wait a minute, 140 Fahrenheit. What the heck?
Let's see here.
That's right, Jeff. Can't help it. It happens. It happens. But at least I'm not frozen like.
I'm just practicing for later when it's really cold out. It is 49 degrees here.
So it's colder here than it is up there?
Yep. 49
That
degrees.
is ridiculous. That is,
Telling you,
see,
you got to
now
move.
I'm starting my camera is starting to get way too bright again on its own. What in the heck? Are you doing something to my computer, Steve? Killing
You
me.
did open that email I sent you earlier, right?
I ain't opening nothing you sent me. 'Cause you done got the gremlins up there or something.
I
You trying to send them to me?
sent.
Oh, now my auto white balance is on. What the heck is up with this camera doing its own thing here? Or computer rather.
See, you go clicking on stuff and you break everything.
No, I didn't click on nothing though. I was sitting here and all of a sudden I just saw myself getting wider and wider. It makes this hair look gray.
Yeah,
And it's really not gray.
that's it.
It's really not gray. 60 Dale says it's 65 there. He must be down yonder somewhere out in Arizona. Am I pretty again? That's right. That's right. Hey, I can't help it. I have missed you, Brian. I hadn't got to use my darn my audio effects in a while, so I'm glad to see you back. You can't be laying out because every time you lay out, I don't ever get to use my sound effects, and then everybody's like, "Hey, did your sound effects tear up?"
Nice.
All right, guys. Well, it is almost 2 hours, so if you hadn't already, hit the like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. This channel, that one over there, Steve's channel. We still trying to. Let me go see where he's at now. We still need Steve to get some more subscribers. I really wanted to try to get the 5,000 before the night was over with.
5.
Oh, what y'all think of?
What do you?
Or 10,000? My bad. My bad. Five popped up on the screen. I
Uh-huh.
squirrel again. I squirrel again. Hey, what y'all think about my little background for the image tonight, for the thumbnail tonight? That's actually a picture of the, my stacked up jobs. Look at that right there. Hang on, let me show you. Look at that. That's a lot. That's a lot of Luan that's been cut right there, guys. That's all 4.7 millimeter Luan, and that's the finished product stacked up. And I just was like, that's a cool picture, so I took it. So who else thinks it was a cool picture? Raise your hand.
I thought it was a bunch of burnt bamboo.
No, it's the edge of
Yeah,
the
I got
bills
you.
that I'm doing. But I got them all I had them all stacked in a box, and I just looked in there. I was like, man, that's actually a pretty cool image for a laser channel, you know. But yeah. But if you hadn't already, guys, go check it out. Facebook, as far as the laser engraving community page, I've gotten better about this since Steve calls me out on it all the time. There are links on my YouTube channel to the video for the laser engraver community page, Steve's page, and like my Etsy shop, Amazon, the whole 9 yards. So I've got links for everything in there. So Steve can't make fun of me for not doing it tonight. And
Not making fun. Just
so just go check
Yeah.
those out. Well, I'm trying to learn from you,
Yeah,
Steve. I mean, there's some things, you know, that I do lack on, and I'm trying to improve upon that. I'm trying to do a better job. So, but I appreciate you guys. And oh, twin trees, two trees. Yeah, I don't know about that machine. You may, but appreciate you guys. Appreciate y'all support. Like I said, 2023 has been kind of a big year for me. I went from like my YouTube channel has definitely changed a lot this year. I hope that the video and audio quality and as what is it you call it, the production quality. I hope my production quality has went up a little bit. I can't help this. This is God gave me this, and I can't change it. But I try to come up with videos that you guys are going to want to see and things that are helpful, informative, or entertaining. Sometimes all I can do is shoot for entertaining, but you know, I promise you, I'm trying. So, do you already have a design? Well, Brian, I mean, what I'll do is basically there's some screws on the end of the gantry right here, and since I've looked at it, all I'm going to do is basically build a 3D print file that you can back those screws out and either replace them with longer ones if needed, or just have just enough to be able to connect it and then put the screws back in and using the factory screws. Uh, or I may even make one that adheres on there with, like some double-sided 3M adhesive, weather strip adhesive or something. But it will basically just be a little flange that will connect to the side of that. And I think I built one for the Niji, so I may just be able to retool that. But yeah. But I will definitely post pictures, if not do a video, when I do it. I've gotten better about that.
I want a live stream of the 3D print in action.
Okay, that may take a while. I mean, I get a lot of watch hours out of that, but
Yeah, just set the camera on there. Just that'll be your live stream. The 3D printer going.
well, it actually wouldn't take too long. These little parts, like I've been printing, they don't take like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I've dialed my settings in to where I've gone as fast as I can go and still have a solid, part to use for that application without it just being flimsy. But yeah, I appreciate that, Brian. Like I said, me and Steve both working hard for you guys, trying to have some fun, trying to bring you new information and new lasers. I do have a lead on another machine that I may be getting that I've been asked about a lot. So waiting to hear about that. But, I don't like to count my ducks before they hatch. So I'm waiting on that to show up. But for right now, I am trying to avoid any more machines coming into the shop until after the new year. Because between Christmas and Thanksgiving and everything I've already got on the books, I just ain't got time.
No.
So, but anyway, over to you, Steve. If you want to give me that affiliate commission for those lenses or something, work that out.
I told you, I'd send you an extra little surprise in yours. But No, I appreciate everybody again this week and on the live. So I know I'll still be trying to be active this week with the channel. Might even, like I say, get into playing around with the P2. If I've got things set up, maybe I'll go live with that and we'll show a little more of it in action and such. But gonna have some fun playing with that. Definitely having some content out there, kind of maybe showing the differences between what they do better between diodes or CO2s and just the features and caveats as well. So definitely looking forward to playing around with that. And yeah, get like David said, I'm really trying to not bring extra machines into the shop right now because I want to focus on some of the ones I have here, do some work, get caught up on my normal making stuff as well, both with lasers and without. So definitely we'll continue to post things here. I try to put some sneak behind the scenes things on like Instagram stories and other stuff. I haven't been as great about that the past couple months, but we've got an Instagram page feed there as well. So if you want to follow that, that's linked in my video as well. And then of course, the Facebook pages as well. That's where we kind of put some things out. Whether they're video announcements or just middle of project updates, things like that. Yeah, hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. Maybe we'll see you midweek. Otherwise, plan to be back here on Sunday. We can talk about any crazy deals we snagged and whatnot, and all the
Maybe we can reveal this mystery project.
the turkey. Yeah, reveal your mystery project, and hopefully not be yawning too much from turkey after a few days. And we'll
Before we leave, too, I got one shout out I want to do. My man Jeff Schultz. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's been a change in the background back there. I was gonna take it to the office and put it in my office, but I got to thinking. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hang it here because that's Jeff's one of the viewers. I don't know if he's in here or not tonight, but Jeff made me that and mailed it to me as kind of a get well gift while my back was injured, and I just got to where I felt sneaky enough to climb a ladder to put it up there without my wife catching me. So I finally got it mounted and got it up there. I took the one that was up there, it's metal, and I put it on the front of the shack for, when people pull up in the front of the building. But thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that, and glad I finally got around to putting it up. It wasn't that I was ignoring you; I was just not permitted to climb ladders. Probably still aren't, but whatever. But good night, guys.
see ya.